Love it.
We've made it.
I know. I gotta keep all the. I always cut out all the bits. I should keep it for bloopers.
Mate, look, yeah, bloopers, plus a lot of potties do that little B-roll over the beginning, you know, so...
We've got B-roll that's like out, the harbour here, but as you can see, we've got the Women's World Cup.
Yeah, mate, that's huge.
So they're setting up here in the background, so you normally see the Opera House there. But anyway, before we begin, cheers, my friend.
Mate. Yeah.
Good to have you on the show.
No, thank you.
All right.
Nice to see you.
3, 2, 1. Hi, it's Mark here from the Australian DeFi Association. I'm here with James Coombes from Block Earner. James, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, g'day, mate. No worries.
Mate, this is awesome because it's part of the Getting to Know the Community show. Block Earner's been you've been a great community supporter for us. If you come to the meetups, you can say thank you for pizza and food and drink.
Yeah.
Because without sponsors like Block Earner, we would not be able to. We would be able to put it on, but it'd be more out of my back pocket. A lot of people don't know how much money we have put into this to get it off the ground and started, and the help that we've had from great teams like when we were at Macari and they were helping us out, and that was great. Now we've moved to Stone and Chalk, they're helping us out, and we've got great sponsors. So a lot of people worry that we're in a bear market, but thanks to Block Earner, I think we're okay.
No, mate, look, it's a pleasure. We, like you said, we're members of the community. Our team has been around crypto for years now. And yeah, like you said, I first joined the Oz DeFi meetups, what was it, right at the end of 2020?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
2021.
It's 2023 now.
Yeah, it was the end of 2021
end of
when
2021.
we got started.
Yeah.
It feels like 2020, it feels like ages ago.
And I remember you guys did a presentation at the Web3 Summit up at Stone and Chalk.
That's,
Fish burners.
Yeah.
And that's where I met you guys, yeah.
Was that where we met?
Yeah.
Jeez, I felt like we knew each other from before then, but let's take a big step back. I mean, how did you get started in this space? What brought you into it?
Yeah, mate. Look, like every Sydney sider, you're supposed to go down a particular track, and I was on those rails. I really was. When I left uni, I left uni with a commerce law degree, and thought the right thing to do was to go into finance, get a proper job, as everyone calls it. And frankly, mate, I just got quite bored of it quite quickly.
Yeah.
I like traditional finance just wasn't really my cup of tea.
Okay.
So I started exploring alternates. I ended up doing a couple of little startups.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So I had my own startup for a little while, and that led me down a crazy path of like import-export trade.
Oh,
I was doing. We were designing and importing electric motorbikes.
Wow.
And that was just
hardware,
such a cool...
proper hardware.
Hardware, right? Compared to what we're doing now. And then, look, COVID was really rough on that business.
Yep.
But, no time to cry over spilt milk or however it goes, right? But that honestly was the catalyst for me discovering, like, digital assets. I remember seeing an ad out the window of the fish burner's office. And it said, if you haven't heard of Bitcoin by now, it's too late. And it was a Juno.
Clickbait.
Yeah, it was a Luno or whatever the exchange was back then. They got me good.
What, Terra Luna?
No, Luno.
Oh, Luno.
It was Luno or something like that was the brand.
Wow.
And, mate, they got me hook, line and sinker. I was just like, I see these ads all the time.
Yep.
I have to learn about it. And I still remember that day just researching. I just pulled up a list of the top 10 cryptos, and I just thought, why are some better than others? Why are there, are these 10 at the top? And I just went to each of their respective websites and learned as much as I could. And mate, that was the beginning of by far the biggest rabbit hole of my life.
Love a good rabbit hole. For me, it was like watching a few, like there's key podcasts, whether it's the Bankless guys and talking about the crypto renaissance and the follow-up from that, or Raoul Pal with Robert Breedlove and talking about the background of why Bitcoin is the thing. But you get that hook and it brings you in, and now you're in it. You're at Block Earner,
yeah,
and doing great things there. Tell us more about them. Like, what is it like? If someone's never, I mean, come on, if you haven't heard of Block Earner, but if they haven't, let's just assume.
Yeah.
What would you tell them what it is that Block Owner does.
Yeah, thanks. Look, Block Owner, we're such an interesting brand. Like I was saying before, we're so lucky to have a group of industry veterans. So we've got people that have been through cycles, right? We've seen scams, we've seen rugs, we all wear the battle scars, and we'll send you the wallet addresses if you want, right? Yeah. But that prepares us to build a brand that is a bit different, right? Okay. And so our brand is focused on bringing the underlying utility of crypto to everybody without the technical know-how. Interesting. Is the if you were to really boil it down. So imagine things like you can buy and sell crypto everywhere, but storing it becomes an issue.
Yeah,
right.
That's a headache.
Storing it, like spinning up a wallet, all that sort of stuff. Seed phrases.
Where to bury them, where to remember them.
Your undie drawer.
Not everyone has access to the permafrost in the Antarctic, so,
Yeah, right. So, and then comes the other point of, well, can you really trust an exchange? As we've seen what's happened there. There's many great exchanges, but there's trust issues everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So we sort of believe that you've got to trust someone along the way. Yeah. And so we spun up a product that helps you do that, helps you spin up a wallet and store your crypto, but fully insured. Because we understand that there's trust involved for us, but let's help reduce that by insuring it. And we partnered up with Coinbase for that.
Fantastic. And we know Coinbase well. We ran the Base Layer 2 launch event in Sydney. They had one in Melbourne as well. That was a great event. So there'll be some video coming out on that soon. But amazing that you guys partnered with them to get this. Like the way I see it, it's like you guys are almost like an all-in-one app for someone that wants the sophistication but doesn't have the time to get into all of the nitty-gritty details that you need to do, right?
Yeah, precisely. We know how rough that is. We know that the next step of adoption in crypto isn't storing your 24-word phrase in your sock drawer. It just isn't. It needs to modernize in the same way that traditional finance modernized, and we're just hoping to be part of that journey, right? So we're trying to reduce the walls, increase the adoption by reducing the complexity. Yeah.
Love it. And we're all about reducing those walls and barriers.
Yeah. Another example, like people talk about DeFi all the time, right? Like Oz DeFi Association. But when you really boil it down to accessing DeFi, there's so many steps involved, right? Like you have to choose the right crypto, then you have to withdraw it on the right network to the right wallet address, right? Then you need to sign the dApps contract. And then you actually need to deposit the funds, right?
And all at the right time, because depending on where you're going, gas fees could be volatile, depending on the exchange.
We even have team members who share stories about, I was trying to move $100 and lost it all in gas, right? You just need to... Yeah. Those
were the days.
There's such a high knowledge bar that we don't fully appreciate once you're in the space.
Yeah.
So when we started to think about that, we're like, well, how can we bring DeFi access to everyday people? And so we spun up a product named DeFi Access, and it is like single click access from AUD into depositing your ETH into Aave.
That's pretty bloody amazing.
In the background, like I'll have to get one of our wizards to explain it properly, but on the background there's a lot going on. But that's the whole role that we want to play for our users, is like, let us be the complex guy. Right, whatever you want to do, bring your AUD along and you can do it, generally with us.
DeFi. Simples.
Although
that's probably copyrighted, so we probably can't use that. But anyway.
I was just drafting up our next ad,
Okay, well, keep an eye out for it, folks. And this next question is a pretty good one, because it's nice to be recognized for the efforts that you bring to the table, because sometimes, you do all this hard work, you don't feel like you're getting the recognition or the customer uptake and all that, and you guys have been doing well there because you were recognized as a finalist at the Finis and the Fintech Awards. Can you tell us more about that? What led to that?
Yeah. Look, you're spot on. Fintech space can be a lonely space, especially in Web3, right? You're often trying to do interesting things and push the envelope, and a lot of the time, not a lot of people want to talk to you about that, right? Because the traditional finance landscape is so entrenched in Australia. But organisations like Fintech Australia are doing such a cool job at recognising the smaller brands like us. So we were nominated. We were nominated for 2 awards this year. I think it was innovation in blockchain tech and global expansion, because we opened up our Turkey operation as well.
That's right. Yeah, because one of your founders is Turkish.
It's Turkish, yeah.
Amazing.
So I don't know if you know, but the Turkey market is like ripe for crypto. So few interesting metrics out of Turkey. The like top 5 adoptions around the world, like top 5 crypto adopting nations around the world.
Did not know that.
And they also, because of the sad state of the Turkish lira, there's been a mad rush to stablecoins. And it is just quite an interesting battle test of the technology, right? Like, the utility of stablecoins is often questioned, and this is a really interesting demonstration of the value stablecoins can bring. So USDT in Turkey is extraordinarily traded, like an enormous amount.
DT or DC?
DT.
Oh, interesting.
DT. Yeah.
Okay.
So Tether has that market at the moment. Lots of assets, banks, things like that will accept deposits. Interesting custody companies over there. So we spun up an operation to be a part of that burgeoning adoption. And it's like what we've been saying, try and reduce the complexity for those users as well, and off we go. But yeah, sorry. So we were nominated for a couple of awards. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was that like? Getting the nomination and getting notified about it and stuff, and then going to the awards. Did you get to go to the awards?
Yeah.
Okay.
The awards are so good, mate. If you get a chance, big ball set up, black tie, but being the startup in the room, obviously we didn't wear ties.
Was it black tie and tux, or just you're okay with the suit and stuff?
Look, you can wear what you like, but we felt like the odd ones out by not wearing a tux. So there are
people wearing tuxes?
A lot of tuxes,
Oh
yeah.
my
It's a
gosh.
proper ball, and the women wearing beautiful ball gowns, and it was a really nice night.
See, if I could wear a ball gown, there's just more choices you find with that. Like, guys, it's just the penguin suit. What about a tuxedo onesie?
Mate,
Like, it counts, right? Like, it looks like a onesie. I mean, it looks like a tuxedo.
I don't mind the lack of choices, to be honest.
Okay, fair enough.
I rather...
Sometimes a lack of choice is okay.
Yeah. Mate, then you know what you're going to look like, right?
That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I mean, sometimes, it's like when the menu has too many things on it, it's too much. But, having the option to have either, like, a lot of choices with these guys or not much choices with these guys, I think that's the key.
Yeah. But it was amazing to rub shoulders with the other cool brands. Like, we were down there with some really, really interesting fintech brands, like enabling, in a large way, enabling payments in Australia. Like, a lot of the brands down there are responsible for actually moving the money around our country, and you might not have even heard of any of them, right?
They underpin a lot of stuff, but you don't even know them.
Yeah. And a lot of the crypto industry as well. So
the interesting thing there is that in Australia we're lucky because we've got, or actually it's a double-edged sword. We're lucky as citizens because we've got NPP, the new payments platform, which makes payments a whole lot faster than you have with traditional banking. But that's a double-edged sword because that's a hurdle for anything in the crypto space, because you've not only got to overcome cash and just the existing forms of traditional banking, but we've got this next layer of evolution up there, which crypto is better than because it's programmable and there's transparency and just other factors more than MPP, but still it's this thing to overcome. So what do you think about that? Like those, like as you mentioned it, like, these other players that are there, how do you kind of see and view what crypto needs to do in that space?
Yeah, look, payments are such an interesting application for crypto, and there's a few common misconceptions out there. I'll try and go through a couple. The first one being the merchant has to accept crypto. Like, that's a major misconception out there.
What are they going to do? How is the mom and pop shop
Exactly. I can't buy gum with crypto and things like that. And they're common misconceptions because I see the role of currency just changing, not it's changing, not leaving, right? So crypto, as its adoption and utility becomes clearer, perhaps the most obvious example of what I'm trying to say is like moving money overseas, right?
Yep.
Like typically you would have to go down to TravelX at the international terminal and pay 9% or something.
Ridiculous.
Swap your Australian dollars into US dollars, right?
Yep.
And then carry your US dollars cash over the border, right? Or you can take your debit card and then the bank will charge you whatever they try and get away with these days. The alternative to all of that is having all of the global stable coins sit on a single ledger, right? Which, like when you put it like that, just makes an enormous amount of sense. So,
and you don't get to feel like a dirty, money launderer, drug smuggler on the way through the airport.
Well, ultimately, that's sort of what I was trying to say. So you don't need crypto to make that last leg. Crypto can just be the highway, right?
Solving that, yeah.
And then when you get into the little town, you're still paying fiat. So the way we see it is, people will send money overseas. They already do in stable coins and in other crypto, and then off ramp into local currencies, and that will like streamline the international trade, currency movements. Like, from my experience, I used to send money to China about 3 times a year, and it used to take over 2 weeks.
Holy moly!
And one of the best things about the SWIFT system is no tracking. So. The Swift aggregator will just collect your money and then say, yep, we got it. And then to actually have it recognized, you've got to wait for the factory to call you and say, hey, we got your money. There's a few hops in between. So a few nervous waits there, mate, in a startup.
Oh, jeez.
But
did the money go through?
compare that to like an immutable ledger where I can send the USDC or USDT or whatever to the recipient wallet and see that it is in there.
Yeah.
Right? I don't even need a confirmation. I don't need anything. I can see it there. And then all they need to do is off-ramp.
It's verify, don't trust,
That's right.
You can do that. And that's the beauty of the blockchain tech, and that's what we should be using it for. Now, speaking of all that, where do you see us heading? What is let's say,
crystal ball stuff. I'm not good at this.
No one is really. Like, even the most famous folks out there are horrible at this. But
You're
it's
right.
fun, right?
You're
Let's just keep it short, in terms of reasonableness. Where do you see us heading for the rest of 2023? Like, it can be anything. It doesn't have to be price. Just here in the Aussie market, for example, what do you think is going to kind of happen here? What do you feel like is going to happen?
Yeah, I think it's such an interesting question to ask, because at the beginning of 2023, everybody picked this year as the year nothing happens. Right? This was the year we just trade sideways for 12 months, and let's all get comfortable with that being the reality. And I guess if you were to look from the outside, that might be almost true. Yeah. But on the inside, that there is much more macro interest in crypto than ever before, right? I know we all talk about the US Bitcoin ETF as a big catalyst. Yep. Europe's about to drop their one, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like Europe might win the race, and we're not really talking about it.
Here in Australia, Monochrome's
applied,
for once. So yeah.
So I think stopping halfway through the year now and talking about it is a great thing to do. I'm incredibly bullish blue chip crypto. Okay. I think we just prices just like finger in the air stuff. So I more mean adoption. Like active addresses on Ethereum and Bitcoin just continue to go up.
Yep.
Bitcoin hash rate is all-time high, right? So all this narrative around like miners are losing money when Bitcoin falls, right? Clearly the speculation from these mining companies is not that we stay in this kind of market. And to me, that restricts supply and increases the price in that way. So I'd say, mate, if I have to guess, 2023 is an accumulation year, but we're going to finish this year with the first ETF tradable, spot ETF tradable, and that's a huge thing to say. Imagine saying that when we met, mate.
Oh yeah, I mean it'd be like another round of grab me another drink because you're having too much. It's this is non-financial advice. No, it's completely non-financial advice. But like I do like your chances and stuff there, whether Europe, the US, or here. But let's round out on a question that we ask to all the people that come onto this show, and that is, what does community? And you can answer this from the block owner perspective, or from your own. We'll not hold you to it, but what do you feel like right now? What does community mean to you?
To me, what does community mean to me? Okay, so crypto, this is, you could have a crypto bingo card, and community would occupy at least 5 squares.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Like everybody loves the idea of like communities run projects, WAGME, you know, you name it. Community is the holy grail of early adoption tech, right? I have a slightly different view on what is CBA's community like, right? My view is that communities are only built around subculture, like alternative tech and products and interests. Once you reach a critical mass, community is just like, it's just our way of life rather than identifying as a blockchain user, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Once it's so ingrained into our lives, like blockchain community will be breathing, right?
People won't even know that it's blockchain.
Yeah. That is, to me, that is one of the largest steps to adoption, yeah. But mate, community is such a wonderful thing. Like being a small business, we've got some really loyal users, and they just tell us all about the product, you know, what they want. Yeah. And that's one of the coolest things about being so involved in the space, is we can say to them, okay, if that's something you'd like, let us work out how to build that for you. So community is so valuable in this sort of incubation stage, and it's such a vital part to this part of this time period, of crypto. Yeah.
Love it. And, you know, it's really interesting that folks can be early involved in the shaping of something that could be a stalwart of the financial community. Like in the future, when we're not even talking about Web3 and blockchain, because it just becomes synonymous with finance or with commerce, that you were early on in helping shape the direction. And that's beautiful.
Mate, we have people in this community, in our community, we have people who might be just exiting their first ever job, right? Wow. And going into their second job, and they are rubbing shoulders with regulators, right?
Yep.
That does not happen in like the real world, right?
Exactly.
So you're spot on. In 5-10 years time, you might have people who said something in passing at Bar Lulu that has influenced a policy decision.
Yep.
Right? So that's the power of like a really well-run community, and one where regulators, like we're lucky with in Australia, want to be involved in, right?
You know, we're really lucky to be part of the time that we're in, and we would not be able to make all the things happen and have all the amazing events and be able to see all the innovation and ingenuity that comes from this space if it weren't for folks like what you guys are doing at Block Earner. So, James, thank you so much for coming on the show, and we're looking forward to having you guys back.
Yeah, thank you, mate. No, pleasure to be here, and always around the community events. So please just come grab me and say good day.
Fantastic. Cheers.